The Durability Project. My name is Aaron Shaw, and I am a concierge health coach. I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist, competitive athlete, and yes, I'm in my 50s, and I refuse to give up. And today is another day of pulling back the curtain to show everybody that even though I can put together a nice spreadsheet and make a training calendar for all of my coaching clients, I do recognize that it is really friggin' hard to make happen in real life. So everything looks good on paper, or when I, develop this on my smartphone app, but when push come to shove, it's tough to execute. And today was one of those days where I had to be up and out the door on my bike at 5:45 this morning. Why am I on my bike? Well, I'm training for two cycling events. One's a gravel race, the Foco Fondo, which is coming up in around 4 weeks or so from this recording. Then a few weeks after that, I have a multi-day mountain bike stage race in Breckenridge, so that's going to be at altitude, so that's a whole other issue. But even more importantly than that, I am a lifelong active person. I was a competitive cyclist, road cyclist for a long time, Cat 1 road cyclist. And this is an opportunity for me to, again, pull back the curtain and kind of have truth in advertising that training and being healthy is a pain in the ass. It's tough, it's challenging, there's real life barriers, including like business meetings that I have to be prepped and ready for at 8 a.m. in the morning. And so because of the way the rest of my day sort of set out, that means that today I had to be on my bike at 5:45 in the morning. Is that when I want to be training? No, it's not. Is that when I perform my best? But it is what it is. I had to be back at the house, showered and ready for meetings and whatnot. So that is life. So what that means for today for me was really kind of thinking about how I was going to play out this day 24 hours before the day even started, what time I could go to bed, what time I needed to start winding down. And on the docket for today was a 2-hour Zone 2 and endurance-based ride on the bike. And the good news is that I can do that pretty well first thing in the morning. Now, I would not be able to do nearly as well if I had to do like a really hard interval session in the morning. My body just doesn't respond well to that. I've tried it a couple times and it hasn't worked out really well. The results aren't really good. But I had to be mindful of not only how well I slept, getting to bed a little bit earlier than normal, and getting up. And as soon as getting up, having like this little bit of a panic, like, oh man, shit, I gotta feed the dog, take the dog out, make sure this is done, have a quick cup of coffee, and then try to figure out like, how am I going to fuel myself with a little bit of fuel, just to have something in my stomach. Because even though I'm doing a cardio-based ride, so this is going to be what we call a Zone 2 ride, and these zones are based on maximum heart rate. But this Zone 2 ride is intended to be 70-75% of my maximum heart rate. And if you're not familiar with that, that would equate to a low to medium effort, certainly sustained. In this effort at first, doesn't seem like too much of a big deal. It kind of took me a few minutes to get my heart rate up where I wanted it to be. One, because it was still early in the morning and I'm not used to kind of moving that early. And also I did an interval session yesterday, so my legs were a little bit tired. So it actually took me a few, maybe 10 minutes or so of focused effort just to kind of gradually get my heart rate up to where I wanted it to be in this Zone 2 range. So for me, I was shooting for around 130 beats a minute. And I just kind of want to like stick it there, 128 to 131 was kind of the sweet spot that I want to kind of stick it in. But with that, I know that at riding for an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, I need to have something in my belly, some sort of food. And in Zone 2, the primary fuel source is fat. So absolutely the name of the game today was teaching my body how to be at a effort level where my body utilized fat primarily as a fuel source. And necessarily I had to kind of keep my effort measured, because if I push beyond this certain level, beyond this like zone 2 level, my body's is going to have a hard time kind of breaking down the fat to get the fuel from the fat, because it's a longer process, which I'll spare the science of how that happens, but it's a longer process. And as soon as your body's like a little bit more intense, what it does is says, oh, you need energy now. It's going to go for glycogen. It's going to go for your sugar stores, if you will, which are finite, much shorter. You have much less sugar stores. We have a lot more energy in our fat. So my goal was to kind of keep it in the fat burning zone. But nonetheless, every time you exercise, every time you do even a Zone 2 ride, you are burning carbohydrates. It happens. Your body will use whatever fuel it can. It's just a matter of if it does more or less fat versus carbs. That's all it is. So even though I know that I was going to do primarily fat burning zone 2 stuff, I still need to have some carbs in my body, because over the night my body's going to burn through whatever fuel source whatever carbohydrate fuel source I had. Hence a little bit of yogurt, which is protein, not really carbs in this, but some granola. So just that kind of got me through the workout this morning. I have experimented with not eating in the morning and doing like a zone 2, like again, this low to medium level workout, and I can do it, but the results aren't as good. So if you are somebody that can go out and say, hey, I like to run or I like to bike, fasted. I go for a bike ride at 8 a.m. and I don't eat anything until I get back and later in the day or something like that. I would challenge you to have a little tiny something before you go out for your cardio work. A little something, even just, a handful of granola, something that'll give you a little bit of some carbs, some carbohydrates, because your body's going to need some of that. And even though at the end of the day, you'll probably still be able to complete whatever you had for your workout, your performance may actually be just a little bit better if you have just a little bit of sugar in there. So sugar is not bad. I've done episodes on my podcast about carbohydrates. I think I talked about this a few episodes ago on my Durability Project blog here. Carbohydrates are awesome. They're beautiful. They're amazing. They're good for you. You will die without carbohydrates. It's just a matter of proper use of them. And I think people get too confused with all sugars are bad. Carbohydrates, I have a banana in my smoothie. People say oh, you shouldn't eat bananas. They're just a sugar bomb. Bananas are amazing for you. So carbohydrates are amazing. So just think if you're going to get up and do some sort of cardiovascular workout, even if it's zone 2 and the goal is I'm just going to burn fat, a little bit of carbs goes a long way. So that's my sales pitch for carbs. I should be sponsored by Carbohydrate USA or something like that. But the punchline for today is real life dictated my workout. So I kind of had to roll with it and I made it work. So that's good. Coming up on the horizon, so I've done intervals yesterday, zone 2 today. Tomorrow I'm going to do some strength training. And then the day after that, I'm going to do a pre-ride of this course. So it'll end up being a 70-mile ride. And I'm going to kind of get after it a little bit again. So I'm kind of getting a few of these under my belt. So I'm getting accustomed to the course I'm going to be racing on in a month. And my fitness is slowly improving, as everything good in middle age. If it does improve, it's slow. If it deteriorates, it seems to go quickly. So I'm on the gain train here to try to be as fit as possible. So if you have any questions about what it's like behind the scenes, if you want me to be fully transparent, all the stuff that I'm trying to take my own medicine, just drop me a message. Appreciate your support. If you follow this on my YouTube channel, that's super huge. Again, I don't have sponsorship. This is just sort of my passion project of keeping it real behind the scenes. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If it's a super kind of a deep dive science thing, I may touch on it here, and then I can do a full episode on my podcast, HealthSpan Digest, breaking into all the nerdy science stuff, and yet making it applicable to us human beings. So with that, stay healthy, be active. If you have any questions, let me know. And to your health. Cheers.